Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Agile L&D Strategies for Rapid Reskilling. This is a free webinar brought to us by Matrix LMS of Cypher Learning. Cypher Learning is a tech company that's based in San Francisco, California, and we specialize in the creation of learning platforms, such as Matrix, for businesses like yours. Okay, so for this afternoon, I will be your host. Hi, everyone. I am Carl. I am a business consultant for L&D and Change Management, and currently I am also the account executive for Cypher Learning. Okay, and together with me for this afternoon is our moderator, Judith. Okay, Judith has over 10 years of teaching experience with major interests in e-learning and the use of LMS in education. Currently, she is also the EdTech specialist of Cypher Learning. So hi, Judith. Okay,
Hi, Carl.
hi, yeah. So we're very glad that you're all here. Some of you have probably just finished with your annual planning season, your budget approval activities. Some of you are probably still in the thick of it. No, so either way, we really appreciate that you are here to join us and to learn. Okay, so this is a very timely webinar topic because of work trends. No, based on global research, about 6 out of 10 working adults still lack basic information, communication skills, leadership skills that are essential really for their jobs. As HR and L&D practitioners, I'm really sure that most of us will agree that digital literacy, human related skills, critical thinking, all of these really need to be further enhanced to really create a strong culture of learning within the workplace. Hence, rapid reskilling and upskilling are very important. Okay, so the reality is even now we are facing the changing definition of the workplace. No, the changing definition, of course, will bring about with it lots of competencies that we need to develop in our workforce, a lot of new expectations for our workforce, and so again, we're very glad that you're here to learn with us, and welcome again, everyone. Okay, so just some few reminders before we begin. Please make sure that you have registered through this link that we're flashing now on our screen. Um, those who have registered will be given a certificate of participation after the event. You'll also be entitled to win a raffle prize that will be doing after the webinar. So for those who have not yet registered, just give me a few moments. I'll put it in chat in our chat box as well so that you can register. Okay, and also we will be having a Q&A session. Okay, so the Q&A session will happen after our panel discussion. And so we hope that you'll be able to hold off your questions until then. Or alternatively, you can also post them on our Zoom chat box, and then we'll do our best to go through each of them and ask them of our panel. Okay, so now let me introduce to you our panel of experienced L&D practitioners. Okay, so our first panelist is a group head responsible for the strategic turnaround of the human capital function. He is also an entrepreneur and business consultant, the support group head of the Potato Corner Group. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Paulo Perez. Hi, Sir Paulo. Our next panelist has been part of the learning and development team of their company since 2017. In 2020, she launched 2 leadership programs for the middle managers and line managers called Lead and Lead. Everyone, please welcome the L&D Manager of Universal Robina Corporation, Carla Mabugay. Hi, Carla. And finally, not to round out our panel for this afternoon, we have someone who has been in the financial service industry since 2005. He has experience in the L&D space, talent management, employee management, leadership, and process development. An L&D practitioner and founding member of True Life. Everyone, please meet Neil Bernardo. Okay, so now let me call on Judith, our moderator, and let's begin this afternoon's panel discussion.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Hi, panelists. How are we doing today?
Good. Good afternoon,
We're good.
everyone. Good
Okay, so
afternoon.
happy Friday. Happy Friday to everyone. Happy Friday to our participants. And happy Friday to the CL team who is here with us today. So, without further ado, let us get started with our panel discussion. So, our very first question for today is: in your opinion, in your professional opinion, is there a widening skill gap with your current employees and new hires based on your organization needs? So, maybe we can start with Sir Neil, and then we'll go to Sir Pao, and then Miss Carla.
Thank you for that, Judith. With True, we are actually in the business of selling insurance, right? What is important is when we recruit troopers, we call our employees troopers. It's important that there's that organization and culture fit, right? It's important that they also embrace the values, the brand personality, so that they are with us for the long haul. But aside from culture fit, organization fit, embracing the values, it's also important that they are aware of the competencies that they should be able to deliver. So in L&D, we make sure that we are able to somehow arrest if there is a widening skill gap. Skill gaps will always be there. It's obvious that a new hire would not be able to perform at par with the tenured ones, but it's important that we're able to arrest that. So, but to answer the question directly, widening, not in our case, not a widening scale gap, because we're always able to check, with especially with probationary employees, how are they faring compared to our tenured people, and how can we bring them to that level?
Okay, that's very interesting and very confident with that. There is no widening gap. So we're gonna go back to that a little later. Let's just go to our panelists or other panelists and what they're going to say about their organization. Hi, Miss Carla.
Yep. So thank you so much for inviting me in this learning session. First, I'd like to introduce what URC is. So we are actually a manufacturing company that produce your favorite snacks like Yatos, Bicat, Cream Oak, Cloud9, and other products like El Real, Rubina Farms product, and commodities like sugar. So in URC, I think it is not about the skill gap with our current and new employees based on the requirements of our company. What is more critical for us right now is to focus on the new capabilities our leaders need, whether they are current or new employees, to build 21st century organization. In one of the articles published by McKinsey, that I have read last night, they shared that many organizations are undertaking the fundamental shift from a traditional organizational model designed for industrial economy to an agile model designed for today's digital economy. And this is very true for URC right now. We are accelerating our agile capabilities anchored on our business goals and core values and trying to answer, do people really become agile? So for us, it is about culture, mindset shift, offering learning activities to foster design thinking, empowerment, servant leadership, and of course, making sure that we have different ways of progressing in our careers in the company.
Those are such wow terms. Like these terms are so great. It's so nice to hear. And it's like I came from the educational sector, so like the educational industry. So now talking and conversing with such practitioners as yourselves in the industry, it's really a really refreshing way. So I'm so glad, and it's like a lot of these terms are still also found in education as well. So I still am learning and getting idea, but it's really interesting. So Sir Pao, hi.
Hi, good afternoon. First of all, two thank yous. First, thank you to Neil for starting it off. No? I'm sure it's always hard to be the first, diba? And secondly, thank you to Carla for giving me an idea of how to start my first question, no? To answer my first question. I like what you did by introducing your company. So let me introduce ours. No? So I'm with Potato Corner. We serve the world's best flavored fries. Proudly Philippine company that's now present in around 13 countries. So for us, like the two earlier guests you have, I think it's not really a widening skill problem right now, no? It's really more of how you manage what's happening. And I think via the platform, Matrix, now we've been able to actually have that semblance of balance between how we want our organization to move forward by making use of available tools like this. So yes, I think it's not really a skill gap that's happening, but more of how we adjust to what the situation brings for us currently.
Okay, so that's very interesting because actually our follow-up question is how are you going to be addressing that skill gap between your new hires and your employees? But let's revise or let's change our question just to fit each and every situation. So for Sir Pao, you did say that there is no skill gap confidently. So in theory, if we were to do this in theory, and maybe there are situations wherein the skill there may be a gap between like new hires or seasoned employees or seasoned workers to ones you are going to be hiring, especially with like generational gaps. How do you think these trends or the competencies, how do you think we're going to get them, um, well, let them develop or get that mastery? And I would also like to invite the other two panelists to answer that same question later on.
Yeah. I think first of all, we have to be clear about our DNA. I think before we even think about the challenges out there, especially for learning and development, we have to think what we stand for. No? Like, for example, for Potato Corner, we're very clear that our DNA is actually franchising. So that's our core business. No? So meaning all of our people, by and large, should be able to understand how to be able to support that franchising requirement. So our development needs actually center on those. So from the time we hire a person up to the time that he retires from our company, we hope to be able to imbibe that culture of excellent franchise relations. So everything we do revolves on that.
That is, I like that. I like that point because it seems to me that you're really trying to take care of your employees. Doesn't matter how long they're serving or when they came into the company. I think that's really something we should take care of. We should really take care of our employees. So that's a great point. How about Miss Carla? What would you like to share about if there are like addressing gaps theoretically or even in reality, like in the real world?
Yep. For me, I totally agree with Pao that you should go back to your core. For any L&D strategies that you're going to implement in the company should be anchored on the business strategies and the core values of the company. So URC is a manufacturing company might be in a good place right now. So we have been in an industry for more than 60 years. But the question is, can we be even bigger, better, faster, and more adaptable given the pandemic? So our story right now is about going from good to great. So we are actually trying to answer, could we, accelerate our growth and innovation pace? Could we accelerate our improvement and operational execution excellence? So what we actually did is we listened to how other companies adopted, agile transformation. So we actually studied some of the literature in sort of investigating on what it could do for us. So in URC, we decided late last year that, we should kick off some learning and kind of get into it. So in February this year, we started the Agile Enterprise Program for URC, and we rolled out different learning sessions like the Agile Academy, which is, designed to equip employees with the skills and tools to accelerate their growth and innovation.
I think Miss Carla may have some technical issues. So if it's okay, maybe we can get back to her when she comes back. So Sir Neil, can we get some insights about this widening gap or how you're going to be addressing it if there
Yeah,
is one presently?
I'd like to anchor my response to that question on what Carla had been saying about agility, being able to adapt and transform. We all know that I mean, no one knew about the pandemic is coming, and all of a sudden, everyone had to adjust. There are two critical things that people need to, and we are still continuously helping our employees, our troopers, to adjust, because not everyone is on the same page on that. Some people feel uncomfortable with technology, so we need to be able to convince, encourage, and train people that this is now the new normal. Gone are the days that you meet with people face to face, that you can be late in a meeting and all that, and you don't have to always be prepared. But when it comes to the new normal, the new setup, people need to be comfortable with, either investing in ring lights, a good background, a good headset, and all that, and be comfortable with it. That's the hard technical side of it. But there's also that soft skill side of it, that humanizing people management skills, because more than ever, you cannot just be the manager who is there, because literally you are not there at home, with the employee. So you have to be virtually present to your team. You need to be able to still have that human connection. So it's like going back to the basics, I'd say, but basics in terms of the soft skills, but learning new things as far as the hard technical skills, because you need to be able to embrace all these new technologies, managing meetings in Zoom or in whatever platform that you're using.
That's very interesting. Just like konting like sharing also on our side, like here at Cypher, we're always building, we're always encouraging professional development, and we're always emphasizing also the need for soft skills and 21st century skills. And that does lead to my next question. So it's a kind of a fun kind of question, kind of fast thinking. If there was a 21st century skill and the soft skills, we can do two, we can do one. What would that soft skill you would like to have for your employees to really master or to have right away when they get into your company, like these new hires? So any one of you can answer first. Hi,
Well,
Sir Neil.
Yeah.
True, yeah.
Sorry.
True is a digital savvy company. We pride ourselves with using cutting edge technology, things that are not yet that are not common in the insurance world, and we look for employees who are comfortable with technology. That's why we end up with a lot of millennials, but not, to say that we don't entertain yung mga kaedad ko. But that's something definitely that is very crucial. In fact, I've attended a webinar that says the jobs of today might be extinct 10, 20 years from now, and everything it revolves around digitization, around technology, and all that. So it's very important that you look for employees or develop that ability in your workforce to be able to adjust and transform, like what Carla is saying. Welcome back, Carla.
Hi, Miss Carla. Okay, so
Ayun,
let's just
that's for
get
me.
to yeah, okay. Thanks, Sir Neil. Let's get to Sir Pao, and then I'll repeat the question for Sir Carla, so she can also give more insights about that question that we asked. So, hi, Sir Pao, again.
Yeah. Um, for us, we look at our core values is actually lead, no? So it's leadership, entrepreneurship, accountability, and partnership. From the four, we hope, no, that our employees will always have, what's most important to us is actually entrepreneurship and partnership. So as mentioned earlier, we're heavy on franchising, we're heavy on partnerships. So we would espouse our employees to actually have that value or that soft skill, no, of learning how to be able to adapt to different kinds of individuals. So our development programs are centered mostly on how they can relate to most of our franchisees and our partners. Given the fact that in our company we do engage a lot of stakeholders.
Hey, that's great, Sir Pao. So, Miss Carla, the question was, what skill or what different skills, like a soft skill and maybe a 21st century skill, would you like to see in your new employees, or would you like to address right away when they are hired?
Yep. So let me repeat my statement earlier that it is very critical that you should go back to your core. And when we talk about the core, it is about the business strategies and core values of the company. So just like Pau has shared earlier, in URC we also have these core values. Dare to do, own it, put people first, and move forward fast. So the theme for this year actually focus on dare to do and move forward fast. That's why in February, we started the Agile Enterprise Program for URC. And we actually rolled out different learning sessions and bootcamp via Agile Academy, which is also available in our learning platform. This is designed to equip our leaders with soft skills, but also with the technical skills. So in the Agile Academy, we actually teach our target learners with deep in-depth understanding of enterprise agile, its important elements, what is the transition journey looks like for the organization. And another objective is also to enable our employees to move from understanding just the theory of agile to deciding and committing to the transformation that revolves around the key elements of a successful agile enterprise.
Hey, thorough. That's great, Miss Carla. It's really great. So it's really nice to see this in the Philippine industry. It's really nice to see such refreshing insights from industry practitioners as yourselves. So we're gonna shift our topic to something that's been part of our lives for almost 2 years, of course, COVID. So our question for the how to address COVID in, well, as the pandemic came unexpectedly, and then until now, um, what were the noticeable changes or profound experiences in you have encountered as an L&D head from conducting training before COVID until now? So we're probably going to get a lot of insights. So I'm really excited for this question. So maybe Ms. Carla, can you start us off today, or for this one rather?
Yep, and we are very excited to answer this question. So we all know that COVID-19 is still here, right? So and we are actually in the middle of massive change where our personal and professional lives have been turned upside down, and remote work or virtual work is the new normal. So with the limitation in conducting face-to-face trainings, we found a beautiful opportunity to continue building our employees' capabilities through our in-house learning management system called Your Learning. So that's our branding. Fortunately, just before the pandemic, we were able to complete our Your Learning cascade to cover around 3,000 employees in URC. So our employees were actually onboarded in this new learning platform, and in the height of the pandemic, the L&D team of URC reported a large increase in terms of the number in January 2020 to 3,350, if I am not mistaken, in May 2020. So in terms of what employees look to learn about during that time and until now, the report says the courses related to crisis management, mental health and resilience, productivity tools, growth mindset, and emotional intelligence. And also, URC rolled out different mandatory courses to ensure employee safety and health via heightened protocols and compliance, as well as, implementation of re-entry plans. We actually rolled that out. And these are the integrated COVID-19 training and basic safety course. And currently, we have a total of 616 active internally curated modules in our LMS in partnership with Matrix LMS, covering catalogs on mandatory courses, agile, digital lessons, productivity, workplace essentials, and functional academy. So, and in URC, we're not just talking about the effort of the HR or L&D team, but we are also partnering with our subject matter experts.
I'm speechless. I really don't know how to respond to that because it's so thorough. And it's very timely considering that, URC is really a manufacturing company. You are getting these goods out for the Filipinos, and it's very very well known amongst like a lot of the masses of Filipino masses. So to say that you have covered a whole range of topics and trainings and that program, What a great response to the COVID-19 pandemic. So Sir Neil, Sir Pao, anyone would like to share how COVID has been changing and revolutionizing your own training in your own industry?
Yeah.
Sir Neil. Okay, Sir Neil.
For yes, for true. We are very familiar. A lot of companies typically do face-to-face trainings, right? And then the COVID came, and things changed. The good thing is that when we launched Campus, that's what we call our learning management system through Matrix. It was very timely that we had to make available all of our resources there. Initially, we felt like we did not have a choice. That yan na yun eh. So we just have to use it, and we were afraid that people might not embrace it, that the adoption rate might be really low, and that they still want a face-to-face kind of training, that they don't like a blended learning approach. But to our surprise, it used to be that, and I know that a lot of our friends here in this webinar would agree. A lot of times in the past, people would easily forget what were the trainings that were conducted by the L&D team. I can't remember. Because of the LMS, because of Campus, they can easily see what they've completed, easily see what is in the catalog, and they can enroll and all that. And we even tested a course that we did not advertise at all. And to my surprise, a lot of our salespeople are taking the course because it's something that is relevant to them. So it was just a test, but that shows that there's something good that came out of COVID. I know that we still miss the whole day trainings and all that. That now we have to limit it to like 1 hour, 2 hours of training just to make sure that we manage the attention span. But there's also some good that came out of it, especially if you have the right platform to support your learning programs.
Thanks, Sir Neil. That's very interesting to hear also because when we think about it, especially when COVID first started, we were all like, "Oh my God, what is gonna get? What's the good that's gonna come out of this?" Everything is stopping, the industry is stopping, schools are stopping, companies are stopping, everything's stopped. But being proactive, like as all of the panelists right now, it's such a great thing to hear, and it's so great that our attendees and our participants are able to hear your best practices. So, of course, we're not going to forget about Sir Paulo and Potato Corner. So, how has COVID changed your L&D practices?
Yeah, it actually changed it a lot, to be honest. And we had to look at the entire ecosystem of our human capital group. One big problem we had is, of course, I think most of us have been affected in terms of also right sizing our organization. So not it's not a good thing to do now, but we had to go through that exercise, meaning like most of the companies, we had to make do with what we had at the time, no? So yeah, we did go through a lot of changes, especially in how we trained and developed our people. But I think honestly, it also gave us an opportunity to be able to optimize and maximize our current workforce. So from that exercise now, we saw who among our people actually stood out, no? And we're able to showcase other talents that we didn't even know they had before. For example, for our learning and development group, we had to expand no their roles now, so they're doing more of not just learning but also hiring. And again, the platform Matrix has helped us be able to do that better now in terms of how we're able to balance everything. So because of this, they're not now required to do physical training. So they had more time to do other things, no? So I think that's what changed. You were able to see a lot of opportunities that we didn't see before. So we looked at it that way, and in fact, up to now, we maintained our current headcount, so we didn't add anymore.
Okay, great. So, Sir Neil, Sir Pao, and I definitely, Miss Carla, you were talking about the training, your training platform and all the courses. So let's get into it. Let's talk about Matrix. So our first question for Matrix is, how long have you been subscribed to Matrix? So, Sir Pao?
Yeah, I think we're the newest to Matrix.
Yes.
We've been a partner, I think, for around almost 2 years, just almost 2 years. So, but regardless, I think what Matrix has done is really a lot in terms of how it has helped our organization move forward. So I don't really see us not like going back to the old normal. I see us really having this kind of setup for the long term because we've seen how it worked already for us. So it's just a matter of maybe improving it more, adjusting it to our needs in the future. Like what Neil said, no? I'm happy that he talked about the importance of digitalization and being tech savvy, no? I think in Potato Corner, that's a learning for us given the fact that we have a lot of stores that we needed to integrate. So solutions like this really helped us understand the requirements for the future.
So, yes, from one of our newest subscribers, Potato Corner. How about Sir Neil? Hi, Sir Neil. How long has True Life been with Matrix and Cyber Learning?
Yes, actually fairly new then because we started pilot testing it. Again, we had no choice when we had a new hire program when the lockdown happened in March of 2020. We had no choice. We had to like upload all of our materials there. It wasn't ready yet, but we had to do it. But our official launch was May of 2020, and the experience has been great so far.
Okay, so again, another new subscriber of Matrix. And let's go to URC. Hi, Miss Carla. How long has URC and Matrix been partners?
Yep. So I think yours partnered with Matrix starting June 2019. So that's 2 years and 6 months or 5 months. 5 months.
Okay. So the next question for Matrix is what were the deciding factors of choosing Matrix LMS? Maybe we can go to Sir Neil first. Why did you pick Matrix?
Our first consideration was, of course, it was referred to us by our partner bank. Matrix was also used, is currently being used by East West, and because of that, we felt that there would be a potential integration between the learning approaches, which we find easy nowadays. We were able to share modules, back and forth because it's easy. They're using the same platform, so it's easy to talk about how do we make sure that both the bankers and our financial advisors are experiencing the same thing. But aside from that, it's very crucial that we partner with an organization or we have a platform that also is as dynamic and as colorful, fun as we are. And Matrix allows us to customize everything, even down to making sure that we have the logo, we have the colors. But one of our favorite parts is the gamification part. So that's something that we are really looking forward to see a full-blown implementation in 2022.
Okay. So Neil, Sir Neil, we're gonna talk about that soon, gamification for True Life. So talk to you soon. How about Sir Pao? What were the deciding factors for choosing Matrix as your LMS plan?
Yeah, for us, we looked at two important factors that made us decide to use Matrix. No? One, which is the most important, really, is the need at the time. No? So we looked at the org, our capabilities, our resources, and we felt we didn't have time to come out with a new learning management system that we will design and work on ourselves. So we felt we needed to have something up and running right away that addressed most of our requirements, and we saw that in the platform, honestly. No? So that's the main driver. The second, as mentioned earlier, our core is partnership, and we try to live that core value. No? So in the partners we have, in the partnerships we have, we really look at how they can help us long term, not just because they want to get our our they want to partner with us. Now, basically, what we look at our partners is really how they can support us long term. And aside from the first item I mentioned, we really saw that they were with us since day one. We when we were starting everything, conceptualizing, coming up with our academy, which is called our Shakers Academy. So they were there, no? Up to now, actually, we do have pocket meetings just to maybe share to the group, no? We still continue to have weekly pocket meetings with them. So we talk about progress there. We talk about our challenges. We talk about our wants, no, the improvements we want in the system. So I think that's very important to us. And so far, we've seen that partnership escalate to a better proportion now.
Okay, great. I like that answer. It's really great that you're still, keeping up with the partners and the partners are keeping. It's really great. Miss Carla, why did URC choose Matrix?
Yep. So in URC, in any platform that we are sourcing, we are always looking for a tool that is easy to use, not only from the POV of the course creator, but also from the POV of the learner, offering a total, positive experience. So we actually decided to partner with Matrix LMS because of its wonderful features. Let me just highlight two. Number one is that it has simple and innovative interface that will, actually enable easy navigation through the course, which allows the learners to focus more on the subject matter and acquire the skills faster. So by having this feature, it will actually create a positive employee experience leading to an increased competency if we're actually talking about the core values and competencies. Second, it prepares customized content that is not only interactive but also very engaging. So if you're going to subscribe to Matrix LMS, its user-friendly authoring tool will actually lead you to offer more interactive courses. This is one of the reason why we engage with them, because we can now deliver more targeted learning courses. It has strong and flexible system that will enable us to render, back end support, generate data and analytics, and deliver customized solutions for our target learners.
Okay, because Miss Carla was able to name two of her features or like preferred features for Matrix. Is it okay to ask from Sir Pao and from Sir Neil, what, in your own opinion, like as the L&D head, what are the features that you like about Matrix before we go to our next question? Sir Pao?
I like the way it rewards the users. So I'm sure you all know that it has like a reward system where you get badges, you get. So that's something that has worked for us given our demographics because we have a lot of quite young population, so they're heavy into gamification, things like that. No? So I think that helped in terms of their level of engagement for us. And of course, the tool itself gives you an opportunity to communicate issues. Like for example, when they take exams, you can use it as a medium to go back and forth in terms of what development areas they want to improve on, and as a as a coach and as a mentor to them, no, you're also able to give your feedback. So I think that in a way it addresses those items for us.
Thanks, Sir Pao. Sir Neil, you did mention gamification, Sir Neil. So maybe there's another feature that you would like to highlight and share with our group.
Yes. The mastery
Oh,
feature
yes,
function
yes.
where you're able to map your competencies, link it to a course, and let the learners understand that because of completing this course or a learning path, you're now able to master this particular competency. So that's something that we started trying this year. and we will definitely, together with the gamification, the points, the badges, we'll see more of those definitely in the coming years.
Yes, definitely the competencies. That particular feature really great for instructors and the like. So we do have two more questions left, and we still have a little bit of time. So though we do know that COVID is here, but besides COVID, what are the future plans you have for Matrix? Um, we did establish that we all three in companies do see them using Matrix for the long haul. So what are some future plans or some things that you can see the company using Matrix for in the next few years? Um, I guess Sir Neil.
Um, Aside from those things that I mentioned, the gamification, which will be full blown for next year, and even the competency mapping, something that we are excited internally in the department, because we are still building the case for our stakeholders when we present it for our plans next year, is for campus really to be a one-stop shop for everything that an employee needs. You know how difficult it is for employees, especially in the digital age, where you're asked to go to different places, different folders, different SharePoint sites, just to read documents, refer to policies and all that. And since the branding is so apt that it's a campus, we want to build a library where all the documents, all processes are there. That campus matrix LMS is not just viewed as a learning system, but the repository of everything that you need to know about being a trooper. So that's something that we will definitely be looking into also next year.
Okay, great. Sir Pao.
Yeah, for us, I think we can all agree that the true test of a successful learning and development plan is really on the ground, no? Meaning you have to translate that learning to actual results. So when we were studying Matrix, we looked at that part, especially for the product side, no? Because you know how difficult it is to orient without a physical trainer there, di ba? Like teaching them how to shake the fries, everything, put the flavors in, no? So we looked at that as before, no? We tried to look at it as probably a deterrent to how we can move forward. But given our experience, the past year and a half, no, we've seen that actually, even though it was online, everything was online now, no more physical trainings, the impact to our business was still there. So I think that's the most important part. No? I think that's the true test of a development platform, the way you translate that to actual business results. So far we've been able to meet those. So I think now in the long term, it will be part really of our plans in the future.
Okay. So, Ms. Carla, before we get to our last final question of our session today.
Yep. So I think that the good thing about Matrix LMS is that it consolidates all efforts required in managing the learning and development needs of our company in one tool. And we believe that when we use just one system to manage all learning needs, the structure becomes more efficient and allows us to manage resources much better. So right now, we are optimizing and will continue to optimize the different Matrix capabilities to increase, number one, the adoption rate of our employees, and secondly, the utilization rate. First, because it is very easy to use with regard to the course management, we're going to offer more learning content to our learners so that they can continue taking self-paced courses and pre-work for our VILT or virtual instructor-led trainings. We can also continue doing pre and post assessment as well as issuing certificates and conducting examination. And this will not only cover the soft skills, but also other courses and catalogs in our functional academies. Now that we are also aiming to cover all our employees across the region, not only here in the Philippines, but also our international sites, we envision that Matrix LMS will help us to effectively manage thousands of learners through user profiles, which actually mirror similar features of various social media platforms, just like Facebook. And lastly, We will continue gamifying our learning, and we are happy that Matrix LMS has this feature. So we envision making the learning fun and competitive with gamification by creating games where learners can earn points and badges for completing the tasks during the course activities.
Hey, so great plans. Good luck for all three companies. We are on your side. And so for our very final last question, like very na nga, last pa, no? Can we just have a very quick, fast talk? Quick answers. What are your best practices of using Matrix? Very fast. And let's start with Carla, Sir Pao, and then Sir Neil. So finish it off. Carla?
Yep. I think my answer to this last question resonated what Sir Neil has shared earlier. So we envision our LMS to be a one-stop shop learning platform. So what we're going to do is to make all the courses in the different academies functional or leadership available in your learning, because we believe that by consolidating all the catalogs and courses, we will be able to increase our adoption and utilization rate in making sure that our employees can have a positive learning experience.
Sir Pao?
Yeah, for us, I think there were a lot of best practices. I think we had a few. For example, we did a lot of initiatives in terms of giving them flexibility on how they can go about their learnings, no, which wasn't there, of course, if you do physical learning. So I think that's one, no. But more than that, I think it's really you have to change. We have to change our mindset in terms of how we do learning and development programs now, no, with or without COVID. I think COVID just gave us an opportunity to be able to explore new things now, but it also really taught us that there's a different and better way of creating your own best practices. Like for our case, for example, another concrete example of that is we feel now that there's more engagement in terms of training, because before, when we just had purely physical training, it was a canned program wherein you go through a 5 day course. No? Then after that, you get visited probably at most twice a year to get audited and of course certified. No? But with the initiatives now using the system, we're now able to do a more regular kind of certification process wherein, you know, if you share the link, they can go to that link anytime, any day. So it actually made things a lot better for us moving forward.
Okay, great. And Sir Neil, best practices of true please.
Yeah, a tip that I can give everyone is to push the envelope, think outside the box. When you are given a platform like like Matrix, don't settle with what you can see. Ask what else it can do, and then try it out. For instance, we have a program where, because people automatically think that LMS is for individual learning, right? There's no group learning and such. So we asked ourselves, coaching is very important. How can we use campus for coaching? You know, a sales manager coaching a sales advisor. So we came up with a program that helps that these two, the manager and the employee, come together, talk about a common point using campus, and see where it would lead. But another tip that I can give you, a best practice, is never to ever be married to a program. Even if you feel that, oh, this is nice, this is cool, they will love it, right? You always have to keep your ears on the ground, ask your business partners, your stakeholders, is this working for you? Because right now, that program that I was talking about, it might seem like, oh, mukhang maganda yun, ah. It has already seen 3 iterations, 3 changes since it started last year. And we're happy that we're getting great feedback from our stakeholders that what they are seeing now in that program, which still hinges on coaching, the coaching relationship, is what they actually like. And we are using campus in that process as well.
Hey, thank you so much. So, uh, on behalf of the Cyber Learning Philippines team, thank you so much for your insights. It's been great talking with all of you. It's great meeting you all, and This is so great that I got to talk with you because we don't get to talk much when when we meet. So I'm gonna pass the mic back to Carl. And again, thank you, Sir Pao, Ms. Carla, and Sir Neil for your insights and our learnings for today.
Okay, so thank you very much to our panel. No, so very insightful discussion. That was really great. In fact, I have my notes here with me. I've been taking down notes. Lots of learnings really. And experiences that were really great. Something that we can also share. No, us in the sales team, something that we can share to our clients in the future. So let's give everyone time to digest all of the learnings that we've gotten so far. We'll do Q&A when we come back, but first let's have a 5-minute bio break. We'll be back at around 4:55. So currently it's 4:50 on my clock. So feel free to stretch, to walk around, refill your cups with coffee. We know it's Friday already and it's in the afternoon. And also, you might enjoy learning more about this platform that we're all talking about, right? So here is a video of Matrix LMS, our platform. Please feel free to browse it, and we'll be back at 4:55.
Training is a great opportunity to expand the knowledge and skills of employees. Companies can choose from a variety of online tools to enhance their training activities. But even so, most training programs are still an expensive and tedious experience. Training delivery is not engaging, the content is not personalized to the learner's needs, and it's very hard to track the skills that employees learned. There is actually a simpler, better way of training and learning online. Matrix is a learning platform for businesses that provides all the essential tools for creating and managing training activities. With an intuitive design, Matrix makes training enjoyable and enables learners and instructors to have a great learning experience anytime, anywhere. Businesses can create their own training hub that is fully customized and reflects their brand's identity. Instructors can build engaging courses suited to their training style without any technical knowledge. Matrix provides an easy and efficient way to create content, deliver training, and organize learner audiences. Companies that focus on talent development can use competency-based learning to tag training content with the skills that they want to teach and assess, then track learner progress based on their mastery of those skills. Instructors can make courses more dynamic and adapted to their needs using advanced, innovative functionalities such as automation and adaptive learning. You can trigger automated actions and personalize what content learners see in courses based on their performance. Learners have a great experience with Matrix and navigate easily through the platform. Using gamification, courses become more interactive. Learners enjoy earning points and badges in games, which makes learning more engaging and enhances knowledge retention. Learners can keep track of their progress through courses at all times. Project collaboration and teamwork are enhanced using tools such as groups, teams, chats, and more. Matrix provides all the e-commerce tools companies need to sell online courses such as subscriptions, bundles, coupons, marketing tools, and integration with the most popular payment gateways. You can also use Matrix with your favorite apps and tools for training such as G Drive, Salesforce, Zapier, and more. Sign up now for a 14-day free trial and join the millions of happy Matrix users.
Okay, and now we're back. So welcome back, everyone. We hope you were able to stretch a little, get coffee, do your bio break. Please, now we are moving on to our open forum or Q&A session. So please feel free to use our chat box, input your questions there. Our host and moderators will be able to sift through them and we'll ask as much as possible, we'll ask all of them for our panel. Um, you may this is really, you know, the time to pick their brains, to pick the brains of our panelists and ask them for tips. So again, please feel free to use our comment box. We'll go through the questions, but to start off, I guess I'll ask the first question. So it's really really good, Carla, Paolo, and Neil, to hear stories about resiliency, flexibility in the workplace. You know, you were talking a lot about agile, as well as excelling. No, so it seems like really Matrix is here to stay, at least for you three. Were there any pleasant surprises that you did not expect, particularly in the first few months of getting Matrix? No, so of course we know that you all have stringent procurement processes. You know what your business needs are. You know what Matrix will be capable of as you pursue this partnership with us. But during the process of adopting Matrix, were there some pleasant surprises that you encountered? Na, okay, this isn't something that we were planning, but this is something that's good for our business, for our organization. Yeah, so I guess let's start with Carla.
Yep. So in terms of getting the buy-in of our approver, I think that is one of the challenges that we encountered because we had to create the business case. Because while URC has been in the industry for more than 60 years, it will be our first time to have our learning management system. So that's one, getting the buy-in of our approver. But luckily we were able to create a very good business case and eventually got their approval. I think the second challenge is how could you get your total employees to really adapt to the new system. So luckily, I remember nga one of the articles, hindi pala articles, meme, no? Who is the driver of digital transformation daw? Is it the CEO? Is it HR? Is it L&D or COVID-19? So it's letter D, the last the last option. So I don't know if it is a good. I think what I would consider it as a very good opportunity to be in the pandemic because our employees really embrace online learning because they do not have a choice, right? So the challenge for us in L&D is to really create more and more relevant courses that they can access anytime, anywhere.
Okay, so that's a really great answer, Carla. You know what? You really won't expect it, right? Sometimes it's really the catalyst for change can come from just anywhere. So thank you for your answer. Let's go to Neil.
Pleasant surprise actually in using Matrix was not necessarily the tool, but the relationship with Cypher Learning, the customer service. It's a surprise because great customer service is difficult to come by, but with Cypher Learning and with Matrix, you're really able to answer our queries, even help us set up everything, pocket sessions, learning sessions on how we would be able to adapt. But another, specifically on the features, what I liked is when it comes to the compliance, that's specifically the compliance feature that you put a validity to a course where that's the end of the certification. That means a day after that expiry, then you are no longer compliant and you have to take the course again. So that's something that helped us in terms of our compliance courses.
Okay, that's also a really great answer. Let's move on to Sir Pao to cap off this question.
Yeah, for us, we were afraid initially of how it would affect our learners, especially our rank and file, because they're not really too familiar with systems like this. No? But as we grew, I mean, as we used it, started using it, we saw how they were able to adapt to the system quickly. So I think what we appreciate really is the easiness of using the platform, even though people who use it might not be that tech savvy to begin with. So that's something that we felt was going to be a challenge, but in the long run, it wasn't really um, it didn't go that way. Meaning we were able to see how it affected their productivity and what we expected from them in terms of increasing their competencies across all levels. So I think that's something
Okay.
very important to know.
Okay, that's great. So thank you for your answers. I think we have one question here from our audience. So Bien Leofando asks, one of the major concerns in L&D during this pandemic is evaluation. How were you able to adapt your learning evaluations during this pandemic? So that's his or her first question. And then their next one, a follow-up, what were your best practices or projects to achieve level 3 behavior and level 4 business impact of evaluations? And then follow up to that, how can Matrix support this area of L&D? No? So their question is really revolving towards how evaluations done in the company, particularly L&D, has evolved throughout the pandemic. So for this one, let's start with Neil.
Yeah, when it comes to evaluations, it's very important that when we in our world, like in selling insurance, we have to make sure that there's no misrepresentation. So it was a very good timing that we have a platform that allows for online evaluations. Checking the knowledge. Do they still know what they're supposed to know? When we've presented that proposal to the business, we made sure that there's also some measures of success. Like we evaluate the success of that whole evaluation program, the assessment, because we have what we call a sales excellence exam. Since it's a campus, we have a prelims, we have a midterm, and we have a finals exam. We've set targets like 80% of the population should be getting at least 80% passing or accuracy on that. When it comes
Mhm.
to the change in behavior, we're also able to use campus matrix, because that's where we basically asked managers to upload and provide the coaching documentation. But primarily when it comes to behavior, it will be very difficult to leave it to an online platform to check if behavior has changed. You really need to be able to empower and partner with your people managers. And it's the people managers who feed it back into the platform. And then you'd be able to basically download analytics for that.
Okay, that's really great to hear. Let's move on to Carla. Let's see if you have anything to add to Sir Neil's answer.
Yep. I think the question is also in the context of Kirkpatrick level of evaluation, whereas level 1 is the reaction level,
Yes.
level 2 is the knowledge level. So I think Matrix can accommodate the first two levels, wherein right after you complete the course, you can actually send your feedback about the training course. Level 2 is about the knowledge, so you can actually use the feature of Matrix about the pre-test and post-test. But I would definitely agree with Neil that in terms of the level 4, which is the change of behavior, LMS is just a tool, but the driver should be the employee and then the manager. You can actually use different tools that you can upload in the LMS, just like the skills audit, so that you will be able to really determine the change of behavior in terms of the skills and competencies of this particular employee being observed. Another level is the business impact. So in URC, in every leadership program that we are launching, we always make sure that there's an opportunity to transfer their learning from the concept to the different projects. So they will not be able to graduate in this leadership program without completing their project, which we also document
Mm.
in our learning management system. But then again, LMS is just a tool. So employees,
Yeah.
HR, and then the senior leaders are the drivers for it.
Okay, such a great answer from Carla. And then let's have Sir Pao.
Yeah, I think for all of us, no, we have to understand really for the performance appraisal part, no, we have to understand what what you're looking for in certain employees. So, for example, in our case, to be specific, before the pandemic, we looked at a lot heavier weights in terms of their on-the-job learning. For example, when you prepare products, you look at 80% how they're able to prepare it versus 20% from the theories. No? But since we evolved now to online, we had to increase that theory, the scores on the theories, and had to balance it with the output. So now the question is, how do you now ensure that there's an output despite the fact that you don't get to see them personally, right? So what we did now is we had to expand roles of the other partners. For example, for area managers, they used to just look at stores performance like net income, uh, food service cleanliness standards, but we had to now include learning and development. So basically, they now became our conduit in terms of certifying the learnings that this crew got from the platform. So the way we
Okay.
looked at it, because we really have to balance it. I think what worked before will not work now. So you really have to put a lot of balance into that moving forward.
Okay, that's great, Sir Paolo. So thank you very much for your answer to that question. We have another question here from Rich. No, so I believe none of the three organizations that are represented here on our panel today have used the e-commerce function yet. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But is there a chance in the future that this is a feature that you'll be using, meaning you'll be creating content which you'll be selling to the external parties later on? Please share with us. Let's start with Miss Carla.
Yep. I think it is a very good strategy for HR so that we are not one of the functions in the company na kumukuha lang ng budget from the company,
Like a
di ba?
cost center, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But I think in terms of the strategy, what we will be prioritizing in the next 2 to 3 years is the creation of the content for our own consumption. So this is not yet part of any plans in the next 3 years.
Okay, that's great to hear. No, of course, we do have to have our priorities, and of course, not all of the functions will be applicable to our organizations. It's just good to know that those are there, ready in case in the future there will be a need. Let's move on to Sir Neil.
Same with True. Being an insurance company, we're not necessarily in the business of selling content or learning experiences with others. Although initially there were discussions, since ours is a joint venture and our one of our parent companies is a European company who also partnered with other local banks in other Asia Pacific countries. And we were thinking of what if we'd be able to sit down and with the other L&D teams and maybe do some cross pollination of experiences, but monetizing or earning from that venture is not really part of the discussion at this point.
Okay, that's great, Sir Neil. Let's move on to Sir Pao. Is there any plans at all in the future for Potato Corner to use the e-commerce function?
Actually, for us, yes, there's a we see it as an opportunity to monetize eventually some programs or um, like sessions. No? So we plan to do it two ways. One is we use our internal resources. Like for example, just to share, our CEO does a lot of talks outside Potato Corner, given his expertise in the franchising business. So and as you know, our business is highly customized. Now we're not a restaurant, but we're not purely a kiosk. So we're in between. So that kind of a segment doesn't have really a lot of competitors. No? So what we want to do is really be able to start monetizing our platform so that eventually it pays for itself. So that's the vision. No? In fact, we had a lot of discussions also with Arlene and everyone in the team that our plan is really to have that implemented probably by first quarter or second quarter of next year. We've been able to talk to a few interested partners, and they're actually excited about the plan. We just have to really come up with a good, way of advertising it so that it doesn't
Yes.
compete, with our own academy. And we have to also segment like what kind of programs they have to run for us. So yes, to answer your question, Carl, we do look at the platform as something that will help us be able to monetize certain programs in the future.
Okay, that's really great to hear, Sir Pao. And as with what Judith mentioned earlier, of course, Cypher Learning team will always be here to support you on those endeavors. I think we have time for just one more question, but don't worry. We'll be taking note of all of your questions and we'll try to get back to you to answer each of them. For the final question, this is a question from Nico. Nico Magsalin, can we customize the competencies that we opt to add in the platform? So I think this is a question that I can answer. So the answer is yes. No? So we really have a strong mastery function wherein no matter how your competency framework looks, we can adapt and import it to the platform, attach all of the different activities that you will be doing within the platform, no? So throughout the whole course, and you'll also be able to see each of your students and how they're faring in terms of each of those um, competencies, no? So we can go to that level of granularity. And of course, I believe all three of our L&T experts here today would agree to that. That's one of the features that are that really helps them. As an HR practitioner, that also helps me. And so yes, that is a function that we offer. So thank you, Nico. And again, to everyone else who asked questions, don't worry. We will be taking note of all of them and we will get back to you and answer. No? So right, right now, we'll be proceeding to the last part of our program for this afternoon. So we just want to share with you, to our audience members, some desktop essentials. No? So we'll be giving 5 lucky audience members some desktop essentials. No? So you'll know later on what those are. What those are. These were chosen at random earlier. No? So when we call your name, please expect our team to contact you after this webinar to get your details so you can get your raffle items. No? So this is going to be very, very timely, especially for work from home setups. No? Who knows, you might win a new Bluetooth keyboard or a new set of speakers. Talk about the changing definition of the workplace. So to announce, here are our 5 winners. So first we have Glycel Okada, congratulations. So please uh, expect our team to contact you so that you will receive your prize. Okay. Second, we have Henzon Estrada. So congratulations, Henzon. Okay. So our third winner, our third lucky winner, we also have Lai Raimundo Lawson. So congratulations, Lai. Okay. And then next one we have Andioni Rapiz. So congratulations, and I apologize if I mispronounce any of your names. Andioni Rapiz, congratulations. Okay, and finally we have Rebecca Pangaliman. Okay, so congratulations, Rebecca. So to all 5 of you, please expect for our team members to contact you, share with us your name, your contact details, and we'll make sure that these desktop essentials will get to you. Okay, so basically that's it. No, again, this has been Agile L&D Strategies for Rapid Reskilling, a free webinar brought to us by Matrix of Cypher Learning. Thank you very much to our panel, Paolo, Carla, Neil. We all appreciate the knowledge that you imparted with us for this afternoon. Thank you also to Judith for moderating. If any of you are interested to learn more about Cypher Learning and how Matrix LMS can help your organizations, just like what you've heard here today, please feel free to contact me My email address is carl@cypherlearning.com, and we'll be helping you with any of your queries. Okay, so please follow us on our social media accounts. We will be having more free events, more articles that you will be very useful for you as you go through your journey of improving your L&D practices. Okay, and with that, happy Friday, everyone. Thank you very much.